Hello, and welcome back to Blonde
Brunette
and Confused, the podcast where we share stories, unsolicited advice, and conversations about life as college students.
For those of you who may be new or need a reminder, I'm Bella, the blonde one.
I'm Lauren, the brunette one.
And I'm Hannah, the confused one.
We're all roommates, so we decided to kick off our podcast about college life discussing roommates. You should definitely go listen to our first episode if you haven't already, but today we're taking things back before we even started college. We want to talk about our process applying to schools and eventually choosing the perfect one for us.
Also, an important disclaimer to make. Although we give advice, we are in no way experts or professionals. We're just sharing our personal opinions and experiences.
That is very important to make because we don't know anything. But to kick things off, I was really hoping that you ladies could take me back to high school before I even knew you. During that time were you feeling about colleges? Did you know what you wanted to study? Did you know what schools you wanted to go to? How did you tackle finding schools? What was that process like for you?
I know for me it was kind of crazy because I did a lot of auditions because I was originally going to be a drama major. And so I had to do all my college stuff like months ahead of everybody. So that was a little insane because I ended up applying to like 7 schools, so I had to do a lot of auditions. But I don't know, I think having my mom and having like my parents there to help me and my brothers who already went through it was really helpful. And I don't know, if you have any stresses, you always like can ask later your high school. Like my guidance counselor helped me a lot, my teachers helped me a lot and gave me really good recommendations. So I don't know, the process was it was long, but it ended up working out well because now I'm at a place that I love.
At my school, we have a really intense college prep program. So we each get a college counselor who goes through and like they ask you about what schools you want, and then they pick schools they think you can get into and would like, and stuff like that. So I was originally going to go to a different college, and I was already in, and then I visited Hofstra, and I really liked it. So I sent in my application, and I got my acceptance in November, so then I was kind of just done.
That is like the complete opposite of what happened with me. Oh my gosh. So for me, originally, before I had even started applying anywhere, I was looking at my friends, and they had it all figured out. I think it was because a few of them had siblings that had already gone through the process, so they'd already visited a ton of schools in the area, and they knew where they wanted to apply, and they knew when they wanted to do it. I had no idea what I was doing. I got so overwhelmed. I started freaking out. I was like, what if my dream school I never hear about because there's hundreds of schools in America? Because this is me. You know, you know this about me. I just overthink until it's the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. So one night I was sitting at dinner and my parents started trying to ask me about it, and I started bawling. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I felt so lost. So I had a mental breakdown, and my parents ended up helping me find a counselor that could help, which was amazing. She's the one that told me about Hofstra. So I actually never would have even been here if it hadn't been for like trying to find help. So I definitely recommend that. Mm-hmm. And she did exactly what it sounds like Hannah's counselors did. She learned about what I wanted to do and then found a list of schools that she thought would match. And then I read all of their bios. And Hofstra, it sounded like they had everything that I wanted, but originally they were so low on my list because I was like, I've never heard of this school before. You know, I'm from the West Coast. I don't know what Hofstra is.
I didn't either.
Long Island.
Neither did I.
And I kind of tried to, I'm sure you guys did too. You split it up where it's like, here's a few schools I hope to get into, but I don't really know. Mm-hmm. Here's a few schools where it's like a 50-50 shot, you know, I'll probably get in. And then here's a few schools that 110%, you know, this is the local school that I know I can get into. But what did you ladies write about for your Common App essay? Because this was really hard for me.
Oh my gosh, I have to remember.
We're so old now.
We're so old.
Oh, yeah.
I think I wrote about theater, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that sounds like me. I think I wrote about how the stage really made me who I am today and like be more like a confident person and I don't know, more outgoing and stuff like that. I talked about that, and I also talked about, I don't know, somehow I weaved in my volunteer work through it. But I don't know, I thought it was decent. Yeah. I didn't worry too much on that. It was more like keeping my GPA up and keeping like all my classes good.
My school, it's different. I went to a school which in its name actually says college preparatory school. So the like second semester of junior year, we spent a good month or so writing college essays.
Wow.
So I wrote like 2, I think. And then my senior year, because we switched to trimesters for my senior year. I don't know why. But so for the first trimester, I took a senior English elective where we wrote college essays.
Oh, sick.
1 a week. So I ended up writing like 20 college essays and then just picking my favorite one with my college counselor. So the one I ended up picking was about being like a mom friend, and then I let a lot of my friends like take advantage of me and how I shouldn't.
That is really good.
It was basically an essay like, this is what I do, and this is why I shouldn't do it.
Yeah, so you're like talking about how you help your friends, but then you're also recognizing your flaws, which is beautiful.
I love you, Bella.
For me, I wrote about how I'm obsessed with Big Brother, the TV show, and I kind of used my obsession with Big Brother to get through stuff that I really didn't want to do, PE or group projects. I'd be like, this is preparing me for when eventually I'm a contestant on Big Brother. And I mean, I got accepted into colleges. In fact, it might have worked in my favor here at Hofstra because my admissions counselor, she had this tradition with her sister when she was younger to watch Big Brother. So I was unknowingly playing into a bias that my admissions counselor may have had.
Funny.
There are definitely a lot of mistakes that people can make when applying. Do you guys have any?
I would say don't broaden in a way what you're looking for. Me and my mom were specifically looking for schools that had forensics and had drama and had marketing. The schools had to have those 3 things like as majors and minors for me to like apply there. It was a small number of schools. So I would say like don't be so specific on what you want. So you don't have to like be so specific on the school, because I know for me, Hofstra was also very low on my list, but then like when I visited, I like really loved it, and so it just ended up having the things I wanted. Yeah, definitely broaden your thought process when you are applying, I would say.
I think another one is being really mindful of where you apply, because the process is expensive. The schools that accept you are the pool you get to choose from. So you have to be really careful when deciding. So I would recommend not applying just to say you got in. You should actually want to go. There has to be a school out there that's a little bit more difficult or impressive to get into that you actually want to go to. When you choose a school, nobody's going to care that you got into a completely random school.
Yeah.
That's not what's going to define you, and that's not what's going to matter. Nobody cares. Also, don't just apply to schools that are too expensive or too difficult. I actually know somebody who applied only to Ivy Leagues and finally got convinced to apply to 2 safety schools. And then the 2 safety schools were eventually the only schools they got accepted to. And one accepted them on the rule that they had to participate in a certain program that they didn't want to. And then the other school they just weren't excited about at all. Now they're going to that school and they're really happy, but you want to be excited about all the schools you're applying to.
Kind of going along with that, you don't have to go to a school just because of the name at all. Like, I didn't know what Hofstra was at all. I thought the name was funny. Honestly, I was just like, Hofstra, that's a weird name. And so I like put it just like in the back of my mind. And I put like UMass before it, and I put like these other schools that like, I don't know, I knew the names of earlier. It wasn't until I visited, which that's another thing, visit your schools, because it will change your opinion on it. Just saying.
Oh, for sure. If I didn't visit Hofstra, I was going to go to Providence College, but I visited Providence and did not like it there, but was like, this still seems like my best bet of like what I'm going to like and still do well. So I was going to just still go there. But then I visited Hofstra and I was like, oh, this is pretty nice.
That's how I decided between my top 2 schools too, because I visited both of them. The school that was back home had a completely different atmosphere. They were super involved in intramurals, and that's essentially what you did for fun all the time, because it's in a very rural part of Washington. You don't have the city, you have a college town, and then you come here to Hofstra, and it's such like an urban and vibrant atmosphere while also still feeling like a college campus. They were just so completely different, and I would not have known that on paper. So
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to go to University of New Haven, but then I visited. It was so boring. There wasn't any flora or fauna anywhere, and like it was just literally like gray building after gray building, and there was no like lawn to hang out on. There was no like anything, and I was just like, this is so boring. Like, I'm not going to want to go here. And I visited Hofstra and I saw the flowers and the trees, and I'm just like, yes.
Our school's an arboretum. We have a lot of trees.
Yeah, and I actually visited some schools before I applied. Hofstra sadly wasn't one of them. I visited after I was accepted. But there was one school, best business school, especially known for entrepreneurs, which is, you know, my major. I visited, I was talking to our tour guide. I was like, oh, so what do you do for fun? Because this is a college, literally, it's business only. Mm-hmm. So already you're only interacting with business kids, and I was kind of unsure about that. And then I asked the guy what you do for fun, and he was like, oh, you can join a business fraternity or an academic club, but what about outside of academics?
Yeah.
What about having a life outside of that? And so immediately I knew no matter how good the school is, I'm not applying. There's a school out there for everybody. If you want to be in the books all day, more power to you.
Yeah.
And you can also, if you're at a school that has other options besides just doing books, you can still just study. If you don't want to do any of that stuff, you don't have to.
Yeah.
College is what you make it, honestly.
So I would say after you apply to all your schools, the waiting game definitely starts, and that is painful. And at this point, everything is out of your control, and you're just like waiting and waiting, kind of like waiting for like a test grade to get back. For me, I had like 4 different stages of getting in for like auditions and stuff, and so like I just had to wait like months and then another month, and it was like it's the most painful thing ever. Yeah, it was worse than the application process itself. How did that waiting game go for you guys?
I knew in November. I applied, and then very soon after, I knew.
I think for me, I did early action, so I heard earlier than a lot of my friends, but it was definitely the time of my life when I've gotten the most mail ever. Because you get into a school, you don't get in, whatever happens, but then you keep getting mail. They start sending you, this is our study abroad programs, this is our business school, this is this. A school sent me a t-shirt, so much mail, but it's so fun because you get to open it, it says your name on it, you probably throw it out immediately after unless it's an acceptance. Some schools have gotten really advanced and they'll send you like Snapchats or texts. My brother got a text with emojis in it, which was thrilling.
That like said he got accepted?
Yeah, it had firework emojis.
I got all acceptance through email, and then in the email they're like, wait for your letter, and then they gave me the letter with like all the pamphlets and all the stuff like that.
Did any of the emails like rain confetti? I had a couple that rained
No,
confetti.
none of them were that cool.
Well, I mean, I only ended up applying to 4 schools because I was like, I'm probably going to get into Hofstra. I didn't really reach outside of where I thought I could get in. I kind of just went with where I was like, yeah, I'm pretty much their average student. I should be able to get in there. There was a couple I was like, oh, I'm above average just in case I was wrong and didn't get in. But, you know, so I got my like 4 acceptances. One of them I found out that I got in because they emailed me about my scholarship because they thought I already had the pamphlet in the mail, and I was like, cool.
Oh, that's so funny, spoiling their own surprise.
It was really funny.
No matter what happens, you can make your college experience work for you and be the best for you.
And it can always not work for you too. Like you can, if like, because I know a lot of my friends, they don't really like it here, which is okay because everybody's different, and they like are planning on like transferring, which is like completely fine. If you need to transfer or change your major or do anything like that to find the right path or right school for you, like it is all completely okay. You'll just get the best experience out of it once you find your place.
College is not a binding contract or anything like that, so don't think you choose one and then you're married to it or anything like that.
Absolutely.
My brother went to a 2-year school and got an associate's degree and then switched into the 4-year school he actually wanted to get into because he had a hard time in high school. So he went to the 2-year school to get up his GPA and such because it's easier for a lot of schools to get in as a transfer student.
Yeah.
So he did that and then transferred in, and now he goes to Gettysburg, and he seems like he's doing okay.
So I know in Connecticut you can like go to like the community college for 2 years and then go to like UConn or something for 2 years because like you automatically get into UConn if you go to a community college in Connecticut, and so like a lot of people do that because it's like so amazingly cost effective. So don't feel bad if like you, because I know a lot of people in my high school, they feel bad if they like have to go to a community college. I'm like, no. In summary, definitely do not be afraid to try different schools that like you don't know the name of or you don't really know, and definitely visit your schools because that will make a huge difference. Broaden your horizons when you're choosing schools, and don't be afraid to like switch schools, because again, you're not married to your school. Like, you can definitely switch your major or do anything like that, because everything can be changed to make your experience the best it can be. It's stressful, but it really will work out in the end.
To stay up to date on new episodes and a look behind the scenes, follow us at BBNC Pod on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and even Pinterest. It's also a great place to contact us, let us know what you think, and give us topics you want to discuss. Finally, share our podcast with anyone you think may be interested. Thanks so much for listening. You're all shining stars.